Yes, this is John from All Points TV, and today I wish I could say we have her in the studio, but we are observing basically, the lockdowns and the quarantines and the, public distancing and stuff. So Sherry's, I assume, is at her home, correct?
I'm at my home.
And I'm sitting in my studio. So anyway, if the governor wants to come in, there's proper distance of probably several miles between you and I, right? So
Oh yeah.
and many other obstacles in the way. So I don't think we're going to be a risk to each other. Anyway, today we're sitting down with Sherri J. Cross. She's a candidate for the 48th district state house here in the state of Michigan, and the 48th district comprises what boundaries?
Okay, that's gonna be upside down L going to all the way up to Mount Rose, and go from Mount Rose east all the way over to Otisville, all that area, all the way straight across, and then down, which will take you down Davison Township. So we've got Otisville, Otter Lake, Genesee, Davison Township, Bio, Mount Morris, and Montrose. Bedford Township, Forest Township, all of them, all those right there. And a lot of the rural area farmland farmers.
So you got quite a big area, I think. I mean, and Genesee County is a big county, isn't it? It's a pretty big
Yes,
county.
yes, it is. I love the rural area because that's what I love. Is the rural area. That's where I came from when I was living in Florida.
So anyway, today we're basically introducing you probably to an audience that might not know who you are. But anyway, you posted something, and both my friend Steve Myers and myself thought would be something worthwhile to bring to the attention. Why don't we go into this? I got the proposal, I think it's called, up on screen
Yep.
so people can examine it. Why don't you give all the information about this so people can have this right directly from a source? We have it up on the screen so they can examine it. Why don't you go into that?
Well, what it is? Just now, this is only a few of the executive board members of the local GOP. They do not represent, but they have to say in this letter, this does not represent all of the board members, also the statutory members, also all Republicans. This does not represent how we feel. That they want to interfere with the LGBTQ wants to put an initiative to amend the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act. That protects them from discrimination. I mean, they've come a long ways fighting for their rights. And Genesee County Board, I mean, this is right here, black and white people. They're totally prejudiced, biased. They oppose it. They said the executive committee opposed 2020 LGBTQ initiative to amend the Elliott Larson Rights Act by redefining sex to include sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. And then in parentheses, bottom they say, we urge Michigan citizens to not sign the petition and to vote no if it gets on the ballot. And I am like, this is wrong. This is bias. Whatever happened to tolerance and inclusion, acceptance, accepting people for who they are? And if you can't, accept them in your own heart, then ignore them. But here's the thing. With the executive board doing this, they're stomping all over the constitutional rights of the LGBTQ community to live their life, as the Constitution says, to live their life with freedom and of happiness. Well, the way I look at the GOP is sticking their nose where it doesn't belong, and I think they should just back off and let people. Besides that, don't tell me who to vote for.
Yeah.
Nobody tells me who to vote for. I got my own mind. You can suggest it, tell me how you feel, but don't tell me to vote or
Yeah.
how to vote.
I can understand right up there in the top, it says, whereas the term sexual orientation has been included in a significant number of non-discrimination policies has subsequently been used, undermine religious liberty and freedom by speech, by discriminating against Christians and others who believe the homosexual behavior is moral, and undermine freedom of speech and an objective truth by discriminating against those through personal experience understand homosexuality to be unhealthy, sort of sexuality. Okay, I can understand. I have a concern. I mean, it's awfully hard to balance all. Some people are going to perceive somebody else getting rights or having extended to them as erosion on theirs, and that's an awful. I mean, and there might be some legitimate possibilities for that to happen. I mean, I've seen there's many instances where people who have like a religious organization they're trying to be forced to hire people who live lifestyles contrary to their beliefs and ideas. So it's going to be awfully hard to balance this in the coming years. How do you see your way around it? I mean, this could be avoided. If you're in a position of authority, if you're making policy, how would you say? How could you best determine or stop the possibility of one rights being almost overriding the others? It's going to be a very difficult fence to be sitting on. I think. I really
Okay,
do.
well, I have one question. I understand exactly what you're saying, but here would be my question. How does the LGBTQ community personally affect you? How you live your life, what you do in your life? How does what they believe in affect you?
Well,
You know, from, I mean, you know what I mean?
that's
How does their way of life affect you as a person?
Okay, I can see that's it. It's a good thing. Those are good points to bring up. I mean, I'm playing. I'm being because I've read some. I let some people read this, and they brought that to my
Mm-hmm.
attention. This is like so. I'm basically playing the devil's advocate or the
Yes,
alternative
I love
voice.
it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love it because my husband does it to me all the
right.
time, and he gets me. Sometimes he'll get me riled up, but he gets the right answer out of me. Get me riled up.
So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I was saying. That's why I was gauging your personality. We talked. I think you have a wide enough experience with dealing with things in life, and I think you do have kind of a broader perspective than a lot of people would probably estimate you to have in first meeting because you seemed like a very very normal person. But you got a very uninteresting story behind your story because I know about it. I don't know if the people out there who listening to this know about it, but you do have very interesting perspectives because you've seen the other side. You've seen good side and bad side. I think that's a unique position to be. You lived
Well,
through it.
the thing is that I'm not judgmental. Number one, my very close friend is a gay guy. He's my friend to my husband and I. He's our very good friend. Don't judge him because he's gay. And my very first encounter with people who are gay, it being raised by two elderly, very religious people who are bigoted as you wouldn't believe. I mean, when they found out that my newest friends in college at the dorm were two gay guys that were a couple, I didn't hear from my adopted parents for a few months because they were pretty angry at me that I chose to speak with people like that. And I'm thinking, people like what? I mean, they're people. They're my friends. They're family. And I guarantee you, people out there listening or whoever does listen to this, I guarantee you, they got to know somebody. They're in their family, distant friend or good friend that has a different way of life than they do. And I welcome it with open arms. I like the diversity. People are unique, and I don't think that one group should tell people don't do this, don't have any rights. Now there's GOPs out of line, and like I said, only a handful of members. It's not all of them, and I know it firsthand. And not all Republicans are prejudiced against gay people.
Yeah,
No.
I definitely know because I mean I've been around a lot of Republicans and there's divisions within every political party. I mean you got the old style Democrat like who are labor based
Right.
and they got
Yeah.
they got the more elite leftists kind of that are like more Marx inflamed by Marxism and college campuses and yeah they got the other ones basically that basically saw that there was inequities in their where they were living in life but they were willing to accept that because there's a broader picture they were looking at so I mean, there's a big camp under both parties, basically. I mean, of course, the Republicans have been accused of not having such a large tent, which I think is just kind of, I think it's just really short-sighted for anybody to make that claim because anybody who makes that claim, I don't think is actually try to gauge that. They're making categorical. Well, I think that's
Right.
good.
Well, we have to put one thing out there though. I am a fiscal conservative. I am not a right wing nut. I am not that far over. I am more in the middle, and I believe I can work with anybody. If you're not hard headed and you want to go against me, want to work on a problem, work on the problem together. And I think outside of the box. But I'm not set in my ways like that. I'm not going to be so far extreme, and that's how I feel that this is old fashioned. This is old school, and I'm not with them on this. I refuse to be.
I think that's healthy to have dissent within the party, and it's another thing is too the Genesee County. I made this because I had friends that ran as Republicans over the years, and Genesee County's Republican Party is basically a dinosaur, in my opinion. They refuse to address the changing times. They refuse to basically, I have agreement with a lot of the things that the Republicans believe in, mostly the constitutional issues, because I see
Mm-hmm.
them. Of course, I've seen Republicans willing to jettison or sear off parts of the Constitution just as readily as any of the Democrats. But here, it just seemed basically it was the if you weren't a suburbanite and you didn't belong to a country club, and if you weren't had the short right hairstyle and wore polo shirts, hitting golf shirts, what do you want to call it, you weren't really welcome in that in their meetings, and that's what a lot of my friends who attended them felt like.
Well, la di da. That's not me. I'm barefoot. Give me my cup of coffee. Let's sit down and let's talk at the kitchen table about the issues that are affecting us every day. That have that need to have some solutions. But this is. But here's the other thing. I think I forgot to mention. My husband's a board member of the GOP too. Because when he won his primary, when he was running in 2018, he automatically got a place, in the GOP. So to the this fall. But he was the one that brought me this letter, and then, like he knew I was gonna hit sailing over it, and he was right. But here's another thing: they went to him, to my husband, and asked him to tell me to drop out of the race because they want their board member to win. And I think you and I talked about the while back
Right.
what I thought he should be doing.
Yeah, I can agree there. Now, would you care to mention the names of the certain individuals? I mean, I think if
Oh,
it's part of
sure.
public record, would you want them to say the ones who are behind this issue that you're bringing up to the
Right, there's
forefront?
on this. And in fact, the one person, the first name is Michelle Orhes. I don't remember her, but because I quit going there, they sabotaged my 2018 election. Miss Judy Clymer, she's the secretary. She's the one that sabotaged my election, telling people that she was angry. She found out then that I supported LBGTQ, and she went on a rant on Facebook and told people not to vote for me because of what I supported. So, I mean, we're talking like a few days out from the election. So her name is on this, and then Thomas Coy. He used to be, I do believe he used to be the president of it back in 2018, and he is now the treasurer.
Okay, now,
And those are the only three down there. There's more than three people on the GOP board.
okay, now that name Climber rings a bell.
Yeah, she's the president of the Right to Life. I am totally pro right to life, and she also accused me in 2018 of being pro-choice. I said, "Oh my God, that's so not true." So really underhanded things going on there with these longtime members. Very unfair. Very, very unfair.
Yeah, I like one thing I've observed over the years is like I saw a bigger swath of the population at one time being really vehemently what they call pro-choice, or many people who are more intellectually honest as say pro-abortion, because that's what basically. I mean, there are other options. The only issue they're talking about is abortion, and then I've seen as the societies is this is I always thought it was going to be a fading issue, but abortion has seemed to be kind of. It seems like the right to life people have actually gained considerable ground the past 25 years because now more and more people are less likely to identify themselves as pro-choice, and I mean that's what polling and stuff like that shows, and significant people celebrities now coming out, a lot of them, quite a few of them are more towards the pro-life side. So I mean that's like it's one thing I commend them for is they were taking a very unpopular stance where a world they dug their heels in, and I commend them for that because they didn't change with the winds of times. They were just to get elected. I think that's admirable, very admirable. But anyway, I think it's interesting too that you brought this to you saw that we saw this on Facebook. Steve Myers and my, I mean, like he brought it to my attention because he saw the post first, He said, this woman's got guts. You know, she's like standing up to her own party, basically. Uh, I don't know. It's kind of interesting that you did bring it up. Now, would you?
I stand. First of all, I stand up for what I believe is right, and I'll speak up for what I believe is wrong. And I'm telling you, you read the letter. I'm sure you probably read it more than once. Do you not detect a bias,
Oh,
a
I,
prejudice?
I do. I mean, but then again, if everybody's, but you know, again, playing the devil's advocate. I mean, everybody is going to have a bias. They're going to, if they have a stated position that's contrary, that's a prejudice in somebody, the other person's eyes, a bias. I mean, yeah, that's the give and take of politic. You know, the body politic. But
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, definitely biased. And another thing, I just think it's unrealistic. That position is unrealistic now. I just think that's like it seems like the Republican Party here in Genesee County. A lot of the members are trying to push themselves off to the area of irrelevancy. You know, I think that's
Mm-hmm.
just puzzling for people who want to maintain some kind of political presence.
It's all about the power and the politics. That's the thing. And because I'm so new to it, I'm grassroots, and I believe in common sense issues. I believe in solutions, not excuses, and that's what I am so tired of hearing. So yeah, I'm a fighter. I'm a 5-year cancer survivor. I fought like living, you know what, to beat that disease, and I stand up against anything. I'm not afraid.
Yeah, I commend you for the bringing this this upfrontness that you displayed by posting it on your Facebook. And I just encourage people to actually listen to this interview and also start examining if they are on the opposition, on the opposing what you're saying. Just really examine if this is a tenable position to be in for them, as a party, for especially as a party that's basically it's a remnant party here in Genesee County. GOP is basically almost like a it's basic. I think I would always think they probably could hold in the meetings in somebody's living room and serve coffee out of one pot. I mean, you wouldn't even have to make two pots. That's how small I think it is in reality. I don't know if it's.
Well, and the thing is, though, remember my opponent, who's the county commissioner, is running for that seat too, and he is also a GOP board member. So I want him to come forth and speak up and say, do you support this, or do you believe it's wrong? And take a stand and say this is not right.
Just, and I definitely say it's like if they want to gain ground, that's what I think the Republicans here are basically. I've criticized them, and I got chewed out because they said, well, I shouldn't criticize because I don't attend their meetings. I just don't feel like they'd be listened to or I'd be relevant to them. So, and what their positions are basically, the way they've always came across, they make
If
themselves
you
less
can
relevant.
handle the Roberts rules, meeting will put you to sleep.
Yeah, it's like we have a person in our city council who will remain nameless, but seems to have a bent to like being so fascinated by him that he makes them. And I'll get that point out. He makes it a point of belaboring to a point of absurdity. But anyway, yeah. But anyway, it's I think the Democratic Party. If anybody thinks I'm just like being a Republican, being contrary, I just look at reality. I look around Genesee County, in particular Flint, where I'm from, and it's not the Shangri-La. It's the Democrats have largely controlled every aspect of what over 50 years, and it's not getting really better that I see. And I just think if you're doing the same thing over and over again, putting the same recycling politicians like we've done repeatedly, including our current mayor, I think it's just exercise in stupidity and futility, you know. And that's my point of it. I don't care if it's a D or an R after a name. If they've been in office several times over again, likelihood they shouldn't be there again. In my opinion. But anyway, I think that you really I think it's kind of gutsy. I mean, you think your husband's going to face some flack over you doing this, or?
Oh, he supports anything because, like, when Judy Klein, well, not Judy Klein, I take that back. Was it her that asked him? It was some other member that asked him, who asked me to drop out, and my husband's response to them was, "That horse has already left the barn, and there's no corralling her." Uh-uh. He knew better. He told me that he did tell me when he came back from one of the monthly meetings. He always tells it was sad, and he did tell me that they requested that I drop out. That's why they afraid to fight a girl.
Oh man, I mean, I think
I wasn't joking. I mean, come on,
yeah,
Mr. Martin, put on your big white pants. Let's duke it out because I'm not gonna back down.
yeah, I just think it's kind of I mean, I can understand maybe addressing your husband first because they know that basically he's a board member and he's going to have to. You're going to hear the news if he didn't bring it to you, and he's going to hear it either way. But I think
Uh,
the way you're telling this to me, it sounds like they basically wanted him to use some of his influence as your husband, and I think that's kind of also kind of a backwards viewpoint that the man's basically going to have convince his wife to do something he knows decidedly she's not going to be for. I think that's kind of
did the
it's like
25 years with this man that I've been married to, we don't do that to each other. Somebody says, don't tell your husband this. You're going to hear about it in 2 seconds. I get a chance to get to a phone.
yeah, unless it's a surprise birthday party for him or something they want to throw.
Oh yeah,
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 but,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I can see that. But
Unless it's, you're right, you're right. But yeah, I mean, we worked together as a team, and that was just really a big challenge that has made me fight harder now.
well, I'm glad that you're being forthright. You're being kind of very. The one thing I've always advocated for is transparency in government, transparency in the party's positions. The cloak and dagger, backroom deals that's been going on always in the politics. I think is should those things should be a thing of the past.
Right. Oh yeah, I agree. And I tell people, look, don't assume you know me. If you want to know something, ask me.
That's
Just message. My number's out there. Ask me. And if I don't answer for you, I'm gonna say, look, I don't know the answer, but I'm gonna look into it, and I'm not gonna make promises to people I don't have plans of keeping. There's a couple things that I really important to me that I'm working on, and one is we'd like to get ombudsman's office open for our veterans. We don't want to have. I mean, we have so many plans with that that I've been working on, and also for the 501c3 animal rescue groups that are out here. All these volunteers, awesome people. Animal control has closed doors. They're not helping the rescue groups. And I read somewhere on the internet where animal control had the nerve to call these people that volunteer their time and everything else pariahs of the community. I was hot. So my mission is, when I get elected, is that we're going to get a rescue. It's going to be a rescue foster center for these rescue groups, specifically the registered 501c3 rescue groups in Genesee County are going to have a place to take the animals that are picked up at all hours of the night that animal control does not go out and deal with. And the police, there are a couple of the groups that I've gotten to know really, really well. Police actually will call them to come and pick up animals if there's a DOA, someone's deceased at a house, that there's animals there. And these rescue people will come and secure the animals and take them to a place where they'll be cared for. So that is the mission I'm working on. Animal control, $8.2 million spent on renovation. They can't be open during this time, but has not stopped the rescue groups out there from going out and getting the animals. So that's two of the things that I'm working on. We got some other stuff in the back burner right now. But this right here, don't let people tell you how to vote. You got your own way of thinking. You got your own brain. Vote for what you believe in.
yeah, I definitely that's what I say. Do your research, and if you have your position established, just find the candidate best supports the viewpoints you have. I mean, this solid rely this connection to a party, one party or the other. I think it's just bizarre, and I just think it's like unrealistic. I think that another thing is too these two issues right now about gay and lesbian rights and all that, and also concern for animals that you're just demonstrating aren't usually things that are connected or associated with people of the LGBT. They usually have a tendency to be depicted or portrayed as not about those issues at all. So that right there should garner a wider support than most of the traditional GOP candidates in this area, or I think pretty much any other area. You know,
Think about everything that's been going on. I mean, all these other political issues. LGBTQ is not doing anything to cause any problems. They're not blowing up buildings. They're not rioting, protesting. I mean, they just have a request to put an amendment, on their bill. I mean, and for the wrong with that?
Oh, I mean, it's like basically, it's like I can take the position that I'm a libertarian, more libertarian leaning, and
Mm-hmm.
basically, I don't think that sexuality or whatever thing should be even a consideration within government itself, because I see the Constitution as what we're supposed to, what the government's got oversight on. All the other stuff is up to us individually, or the states, of course, the local governments and stuff. And this is just overreach, onto a personal life. I mean, you're making it personal, and by doing this, and
Yeah.
not you, but people who do this.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
know, I
yeah.
know. Well, we need less government in our home and in our bedroom. Here's another thing. Think about it this way. LGBTQ community. That could be your doctor, the nurses that are taking care of the people who are sick with the virus, saving their lives. An attorney, police officer comes and to your rescue if you've had an accident. But the difference does it make what their preferences married to or who they love?
Yes,
Honestly.
right. Well, Ed Koch, the former governor of New York, not governor, the mayor of New York, he one time there was a big controversy about female firefighters, and there was like dead traditionalists that say no way should a woman do this role, and basically said I don't. What he basically said, he said I basically all I'm concerned about is they can carry a 250-pound mayor out of a fifth-story window. Basically he didn't care if what they were, who they were, as long
Dead
as they could do
boy.
the job. Yeah, yeah. So anyway,
Well, so the funny you should say that because when I was a deputy sheriff, I used to hear all the things that men possibly think to say to me because it was back in the early '80s, and that wasn't when being a female cop was cool either. These guys did not like it at all. They only wanted me around when they needed me to be a Spanish interpreter for them. Then I was their best bud, but I heard stuff like that. So and it hurts. You live your own life. The LGBTQ community, they work their jobs, they live their life, they have their family. You know, why why interfere with this?
right. Anyway, I'd like to give you a chance here to use the last few minutes before we wrap it up to give all information people can reach you at, how they can reach you and find you.
Oh, okay. Well, they could go to our main website, which is going to be Sherri. Now, my name is spelled SHERRI cross CROSS 2020.org. Now, just type that into your browser. That'll take you to the site. If you are on Facebook, you can find me by just typing in Sherri J. Cross, Sherri with an I, and you'll find me that way. And all of my, I had filled out on both the website and also on Facebook where I stand on the main issues. And it's pretty much the issues that all of the state and the that state and local people who are running the big questions that they ask where they stand on issues. So, and some things I'm really, really knowledgeable on, and I'm very, very passionate about, especially the immigration topic, and also the PFAS toxin that we've got going on. Locations in my district that the water, the soil's been contaminated by PFAS. A lot of people don't even know what that is, but I will be working on it. Um, I don't know. I don't know what else you want me to say.
No, no, it's okay.
So much going on.
Well, I hope to maybe this the voting's going on in August, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to have polls open. I just heard recently that we're going to be doing this by mail.
Yeah, I have some issue with that.
Now we do have. I'm sorry. We do have an event coming up June the 28th at Captain's Quarters from 1 to 5 at Trump Unity Bridge. That big huge trailer that says Trump 2020 on it.
Yeah.
They're going to be there, and that's 28th Captain's Quarters from 1 to 5. It's a chili cook-off. People to come, bring their pots of chili to compete, and it's a fundraiser. We're only asking $20 a person, whether they're coming to compete, coming to try the chili and see the trailer. And we're going to have music and prizes. It's going to be really fun, and then hopefully the weather's going to be beautiful. So that's going to be the only, because I haven't been able to have a fundraiser thanks to their, the stay-at-home orders. I haven't been able to do the street other than what, talking to people on Facebook.
Anyway, it was interesting talking to you, and like I said, it was a nice meeting the first time. And before the actual
Yeah.
vote maybe happens, maybe we can have you in the studio at that point. You can come in and flesh out more stuff that you want to talk about and get people to know who you are more. Anyway, I want you to stay online. I'm going to end this recording, but I want you to stay online for a minute to cover some other stuff. But thank you for joining me. Okay,
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
thank you.